Hello to all my story lovers. Today's story name is The Smartest Cook. Shekhar was a very clever young man. One day, he saw some people in his village excitedly discussing something. Shekhar walked up and heard them talking about Narayan, the village landlord. It's impossible to meet Narayan. He never agreed to meet any of us, and he is so sure that we cannot even go to his house and surprise him. Shekhar listened for a while, then he piped up. What is so difficult about this? You watch. Not only will I go and meet him, he will even invite me to have breakfast with him. Everyone burst out laughing at his bold announcement. Go and then Shekhar. Let us see you do this. We bet 1,000 rupees you will not be able to keep your word. Next morning, Shekhar landed up at landlord's house. The hefty guards at the gate refused to let him enter, but Shekhar was calm. He said to them, Go and tell your master I have come to talk about gold bricks. When Narayan heard this from one of his guard, he was curious. He was having breakfast and invited Shekhar to join him. After all, he had to be nice to someone offering him gold bricks. While having breakfast, Narayan asked, What is the weight of the gold brick? It depends on the size. What is the price? It depends on the weight. How many gold bricks can you bring? As many as you want. When can you bring them? Whenever you want them. Narayan was impressed. How many gold bricks do you have? By now, Shekhar had eaten his fill of the soft white idlis and steaming sambar. I don't have any, he replied, burping and washing his hand. Narayan was furious. Then why did you say you wanted to talk to me about gold bricks? That's what I did, didn't I? I talked to you about gold bricks. Did I ever say I had the bricks? Throw this man out, Narayan shouted. He is a cheat. Sir, please don't worry. I will go my own. Shekhar walked away. The other villagers had to give him the 1,000 rupees they had promised. A few days later, Shekhar was traveling to another village. He came across a group of villagers standing in the middle of the road, murmuring, We need a strong man to move this huge rock from the road. Shekhar stood there for a minute, and then he said, I will do it for you, but give me 1,000 rupees first. Looking at Shekhar, who was as thin as a stick, the villagers were doubtful. But the headman was ready to take the risk. He said, We will pay you half the amount now and the other half after the work is done. Shekhar agreed. He put 500 rupees in his pockets. Then he bent and stood with his back to the huge rock. Everyone stared at him in astonishment. The headman asked, Why are you not moving the rock? I am wanting for someone to place this rock on my back so I can run and keep it wherever you want me to. The villagers realized they had been tricked. Shekhar left them smiling, with 500 rupees in his pocket. The next day, he went to another village. The annual village sport day was being held. A hefty man with a bulging muscles was taking up challenges thrown by the crowd. One person came with a towel in his hand. Throw the towel in such a way that it falls on or behind that wall. I will give 1,000 rupees as a prize if you can do it. The wall was at a great distance. The Musulman took the towel and threw it hard, but the towel just flapped gently in the breeze and settled down on the grass in front of the wall. Now Shekhar came forward. Seeing this skinny boy take up the challenge, which had defeated the strongest person in the village, everyone burst out laughing. Quickly, Shekhar picked up the towel and tied a stone to one end. Then he threw it and waited with the stone. The towel went sailing beyond the wall. Shekhar collected his prize. The king of the kingdom was very fond of good food. One day he announced, I want to find the best cook in this kingdom. Whoever brings me the tastiest food will get a reward. The best cook in the kingdom whipped up mouth-watering dishes for the king. Plates piled high with aromatic biryani, fat slices of sweet fish, and tender vegetables floating in delicate gravies were presented before the king. But the king would put only a few morsels in his mouth and say, he was yet to find the best cook in his kingdom. Shekhar walked into the palace and said, Your Majesty, I can bring you the best dish in the world, but to eat that your tongue must be clean. What do you mean by that? The king demanded. You must not use your tongue to taste anything before you eat the meal that I serve you. The king agreed, eager to taste the best food in his kingdom. The next day, he refused to eat anything for fear of making his tongue unclean. As a result, he had to skip his breakfast, lunch, and tea time snack. By the dinner time, the king was tired and very hungry. He was waiting for Shekhar to appear with his wonderful meal, counting the minutes till his dinner was served. Soon, Shekhar respectfully placed before the king a bowl full of plain boiled white rice with some salt on the side. The courtiers were all shocked, but the king was ready to eat anything that was placed before him. I can't wait any longer. Give that to me. He snatched the bowl from the Shekhar's hand and finished off every grain of rice in a hurry. Then he sat back and wiped his mouth in satisfaction. Shekhar asked, How was the food, Your Majesty? I have never tasted anything better, but then give me my reward. You only gave me the rice and salt. That's not what the best cook in the kingdom can serve. It is not important what I serve, Your Majesty. What matters is how much you enjoyed the meal. You told me not to taste anything before the meal, so I was hungry. And that's why the rice tasted so good, protested the king. I'm sorry, Your Majesty. You said yourself that you have never tasted anything better, so I should get that prize. The king realized he had been outsmarted by Shekhar. He liked this young man's sense of humor and his ready wit. he advised him, Shekhar, you are a very intelligent person. Use your brains for better things and one day you will become very famous. Shekhar listened to the king and decided to use his unusual intelligence to study hard. And one day he became the king's favorite minister and helped him do a lot of good works for the kingdom. Now that's the story. If you like it, then comment it. Subscribe my channel.